this is some I showed this to Susanna. This is fantastic. Wait, do you guys remember in the previous streams I showed you how much they were crying for leaving the shrines, the Shia shrines in Syria? Let me actually refresh your memory. Let me bring that video as well. And then I show you. So, as I mentioned, Shias don't like to admit defeat. Okay. However, sometimes they are defeated so beautifully that they have to cry about it. But then they have to come up and say, like, no, 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 no. At this video, after I showed you, and a lot of pro-regime people were hating on the person that posted this video because they were so angry because this was such a win for us to show how defeated they were. Let me just play this to for people who haven't seen what was happening. This is before HTS came over and took these areas, and the Shia shrines that the Iranian regime and its proxies were controlling fell to the hand of HTS. So I showed you a couple of videos of Shias in Syria crying before they left Syria and let the basically HTS take control of these shrines. And they thought that maybe, oh, these people are ISIS, they're going to destroy these shrines and we're never going to see you again. So let's watch the shrine. And then I'll show you now how they're acting like this was not a loss. Before I'll show you the crying video, but before I get to the next video, the coping mechanism, guess in the live chat, what do you think this Shia mullah that I will show you in the next video, what are they saying now to act like losing these shrines was not a loss? Guess in the live chat. And Sarah, please start people's comments. I want to see if people can figure out the Shia gymnastics that they will come up with to act like, well, it's not a big deal. We didn't lose. So let's look at them before when HTS was coming. So
امروز 16 آذر 1403 این تصاویری که می‌بینید از حرم حضرت
so he's giving the date and saying that this is the shrine of like Hazrat
رقیه سلام الله علیه.
So these are some female Shia important holy Shia figures. Their burial grounds that has turned into a shrine.
شاید آخرین تصاویری باشه که از حرم می‌بینید.
Somebody's saying, so maybe their answers going. Now we give our stewardship to these fine bros. That would have been, yeah, I mean, that some people are saying that, but that's not what I'm going to show you.
همه سوریه رو
So somebody's saying they make new ones for the soon to be dead martyrs. Okay, no, these shrines are some for the shrines of the burial grounds of some of the holiest Shia people in Islamic history, like early Islamic history. Okay. So you can't get holier than this. You cannot replace this because this is where the burial ground is. He's saying all the Iranians have left. They have sold us. They have sold the shrine. So they have evacuated. The Iranians have evacuated Syria. They have made a deal over Syria. So he's like, watch these last moments of this shrine. If ISIS gets a hold over the shrine. So he's crying. He's like, I don't know if there's going to be anything left over of the shrine if ISIS comes and takes over. Susanna saying, regime supporting Shias are God tier masters of shifting the goalposts. Exactly. So she's saying, she's saluting the female figure in the shrine. Oh, she's my lady. I hope they don't come and destroy your shrine. So you can see how much they care about these shrines, how much they were crying. Look at this. So these are the shrines. You can see they cared so much about these shrines and they were very, very upset about HTS coming in and taking over, okay? So that was before HTS came over. And these people with those videos, they were criticized heavily. Why are you posting this? Why are you crying? You shouldn't have posted that. Like now our enemies are going to act like they're victorious and stuff like that. Anyway, so that was before. Let's look at this mullah trying to cope, trying to tell people what, okay, basically this here. this is what's going to happen, okay? Let's look at the coping mechanism. Watch this.
بدن حضرت زینب در بقیه در سوریه نیست. اونجا یک نماد.
Wow.
بدن حضرت زینب در بقیه در سوریه نیست. اونجا
He's saying the body of Hazrat Zainab, okay, so the female holy figure in Islam, in Shia Islam, that is her shrine is in Syria. Yes, saying, holy shit, that's one heck of a cope. Exactly. He's saying her body is not in Syria. Her body is somewhere else.
یک نمادیه.
So he's saying that this shrine is just a symbolic shrine. That's not a real shrine.
تاریخ اون چیزی که مسلمه و نقل کرده اینه.
By the way, the song behind in the background is saying Hussein, Hussein. So you can see Hussein. You remember I told you these people are not Allah worshippers, they are Hussein worshippers, right? So he's saying that the history is very clear. So Ken is saying, wow, exactly. The history is very, guys, history was not this clear up until just a few days ago when HTS has not taken over the shrine. History was not this clear when the Islamic Republic was sending soldier after soldier after soldier to become martyrs as guardians of the shrines, okay? Apparently there was this guy when so many Iranian soldiers for the regime became martyrs defending the shrine. And all of a sudden, now that HTS has taken over the shrine, oh, history is very clear. That's a fake shrine. That's a symbolic shrine. Her body is not there.
مسلمه و نقل کرده اینه. حضرت زینب.
These are what the narratives of our Shia, basically hadith and stuff says. Okay, so let's see the story. Hazrat Zainab, so Hazrat Zainab, that lady, she was dying.
داشتن از دنیا میرفتن اومدن در حیات من.
And when she was dying, she came to the garden of her house.
دلشون همسرشون عبدالله اومد به
her husband Abdullah came
حضرت زینب عرض کردن
and told Hazrat Zainab is her name, okay? So let's say Lady Zainab. Abdullah told Lady Zainab,
دختر امیرالمومنین,
daughter of Amir al-Mu'minin. Basically, she's the daughter of Ali.
چی اینجا اومدین؟
Why are you in the garden? And Lady Zainab said,
که لحظات آخرم میخوام مثل
these are my last moments of my life.
برادرم جان بدم.
And I want to die like my brother.
یعنی از این نقل تاریخ
So from this narrative, we can tell
مشخص میشه که
that Lady
زینب در مدینه است.
Is in Medina. Her holy body is in Medina. Not in Syria.
اما حالا اینجا یک نمادیه.
And but however, the shrine in Syria is now is a symbol. So, do you know how devastating this must be to hear this to the pro-regime families of the martyrs who went and died in Syria defending Assad because they were told you are protecting the holiest shrines of Islam? And now this guy is saying but that's not even her shrine. Do you know the thousands of soldiers that the regime brainwashed with the idea that you are the greatest of all soldiers because you're protecting the holiest shrines in Shia Islam? And now that HTS managed to take it over, it was just symbolic shrine. Her body is not even there. I hope that the pro-regime families of those martyrs see this video, because this stuff is going to make more of them turn against the regime. Yeah, and when was this guy? Why all the people who have made pilgrimage to these shrines, why didn't you give them the actual address of the right burial ground up until now? This is crazy. This is insane. Okay. All right, let's go talking about, this is such a good segue. Let's go to the Iranian people. Talking about the pro-regime religious maniacs turning on the regime. Remember, I always tell you that is the greatest danger to the regime is those type of people. So let's watch these type of people, because the videos that keep coming out of Iran keep like the more I show that to you, the more you see that my analysis of how things are going to turn out has been correct for the past 5 years. Okay, so if you have been following this channel, and if the more recent videos that I show you were like, holy crap, are these actually recent? Armin is so accurate, his analysis is so on point. Well, let me show you how correct I was. Let me show you how everything I have been telling you is coming true. Remember, I always tell you there's 3 threats to the Islamic Republic, right? A foreign threat, 2 internal threats, and 1 foreign threat. The foreign threats are the United States mostly and Israel. One thing that a lot of people do not talk about, there are some Eastern threats as well. In the near future, the Islamic Republic might actually see a lot of threats from its eastern border, even though most of the attention are on its western borders. But the actual threat might come from its eastern borders if things keep getting more chaotic with the Taliban and Pakistan and the Baluchis and everything there. We'll talk about that later. So, category 1, foreign threats. There are 2 internal threats. One of them is the liberal, secular-minded Iranian people who are anti-regime. The third threat, and the most significant threat, I always remind you on the stream, is the religious pro-regime people who are becoming, every day they're becoming more convinced that maybe the Islamic Republic that we did a revolution for, that we give martyrs for, that we bled for, this is not an Islamic Republic. And they think that for 2 reasons, hijab and Israel. Because an Islamic regime is supposed to enforce Islamic law, and the more Iranian women take off their hijab, the more these people are convinced that this is not an Islamic regime because it's incapable of enforcing Islamic law. And the more Israel humiliates this regime, the more hardliners become convinced that this regime is not as strong against the enemies of Islam and is turning them against the regime. So, let me show you a protest in Iran, not by secularists, not by the liberal mass or revolution people. These are a protest, anti-government protest in Iran by religious people, by religious Islamic people. I told you we're going to see more protests like this, and let's see. This is the protest in Iran.
نمیدونن این حرفا اینا رو جهاد و تبیین باید بکنیم. اینایی که میان میگن حضرت آقا نخواسته تو کار سپاه دخالت نکنید.
So this is a protest in front of the government buildings by religious people, by the Islamist people. They're protesting against the government and says that we have to come and we have to do jihad tabin, against the people who keep telling us that if we're not attacking Israel, is because Khamenei doesn't want us to, right? So remember, these people are now angry with the Islamic Republic, and they think that Agha, meaning our sir, our Lord Khamenei, okay, he wants the government, the Islamic Republic, to do certain things. However, the government is not listening to Khamenei. They're delusional. Everything in Iran happens because Khamenei wants it to. Everything is under the control of Khamenei. However, Khamenei realized that hard times are coming. There are things that he cannot do, and that's why he replaced Raisi with a reformist president. Again, remember, in Iran, the elections are a show. Whoever is the president is because Khamenei wants him to be the president. So they brought a reformer president in place because Khamenei knew that they're going to be weak against their own people, and they're going to be weak against Israel, and sanctions are coming, and blackouts are coming, and inflation is coming. So Khamenei brought a reformer president so that these religious people don't blame him and they blame the reformer government. So the Zarif and Pezeshkian, the reformer people in Iran, they're there to be a shield against criticism of Khamenei. That's their purpose. They are there to take all the blame. The entire purpose of a reformer government is for these religious maniacs to direct the blame at them instead of Khamenei, and this is working. But some people when tell these these Islamists that, listen, if we're not doing this, is because Khamenei is not letting us. If the hijab is not being enforced in the way you want us, everything comes from Khamenei. If we're not attacking Israel in the way that you want, is because it's Khamenei's orders. Everything is happening because Khamenei wants it. This guy who has the microphone in his hand, he's saying that's a lie. They're lying to us, okay? And that's what Khamenei wants. Khamenei wants these people to think that he's not making the decisions. So we have to do jihad against these people, against these officials. He's saying that the people who tell us that our Khamenei doesn't want. So he says Hazrat Agha. Guys, what's a good translation for? It's a very respectful way of. He doesn't mention Khamenei's name. He says Hazrat Agha. So basically, dear leader, something like that. Okay. So he didn't want. But Agha, so don't meddle. The people who tell us don't meddle in IRGC affairs. Don't meddle in this, because this is exactly what Khamenei has asked us to do. Majesty, yes, Majesty, maybe. Like when they tell us not to meddle in this organization or this or that institution, that this, like, just trust the government. When they tell us to trust the government. He's saying we people have the responsibility to do amr b'ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar. So this is a Quranic command to guide people to the good and to take them away from evil. Basically, amr b'ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, enjoying the right or honorable, and forbidding the wrong and dishonorable. Okay, so he's referring to that Quranic command. And he says we are supposed to forbid evil, forbid this sin, okay? And what is the greatest sin? What is the greatest evil in the world? What do you think he's going to mention? So he's saying the greatest evil in the world is the existence of the disgusting nation Israel. The deplorable existence of Israel is the greatest evil in the world. And that's based on the saying of Khamenei himself. So that's what, when we come and do our duty to forbid from evil, so you, the people, the officials, the people in command, the people in the government, you have to listen to our command. You have to follow the command of the people. And this is also the command of the Khamenei, the command of the leader. We think we people, we command you. We don't ask you, we command you. Again, this is a religious person in Iran that is commanding the regime. He's saying we people, we command you. He's saying our leader, our Khamenei, has told us that Amr b'ma'ruf and nahy anil munkar, all right, that Quranic command, that should not be based on asking or begging. It should be based on a command. You have to force people, basically. We do Amr nahy on you. The officials in command in the government, we will do Amr nahy on you. He said, you, the officials, you have to turn Tel Aviv and Haifa into rubble. You have to burn it to the ground, basically. We command you. Basically, these are people who are angry with the government for why are they not destroying Israel. Remember, we have protests of these religious people coming in front of government of buildings, angry for why they're not enforcing hijab laws. And here's another protest in front of government buildings for why are you not turning Haifa and Tel Aviv to rubble? And again, turning Haifa and Tel Aviv to rubble, that's an exact quotation from Khamenei himself a couple of years ago, saying that if Israel does anything, we will turn Haifa and Tel Aviv into rubble. And now Israel doing a lot of things, and they haven't done that. So these people are thinking that the government officials are not following the commands of Khamenei.
نه وگرنه همین مردمی که به شما رأی دادن شما رو برکنار خواهند کرد.
He's saying, like, if you do not do that, if you do not destroy Haifa and Tel Aviv, the very same people who have voted for you, they will take the power away from you. They will basically remove you from power. So they're saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So 3 Allahu Akbar, and then Khamenei Rahbar. Khamenei is the leader. Deaf to the people who are against the guardianship of the Jews. Deaf to America. Oh, deaf to Israel. So did these people miss England? Oh yeah, these people didn't include England. Okay, so they went from America to Israel, and now deaf to the hypocrites and the non-believers. Wait, there's Israel again at the end. So what was that? What was that one after America? Magbar America. Wait, they said Israel twice? Magbar Israel, and then okay, so Israel has been deaf to Israel twice apparently in this. Okay, so there's another person who's shouting over him. He's saying, we don't want officials who are cowards. So they're saying, why are officials coward? We don't want coward officials.